Good chunk. Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. You're watching In Deep on the Delta. Today we're talking about 5 essential bass baits that you need to have on your boat. All 5 of these baits are under $10, so they're very inexpensive baits. They're quality baits. You know, inexpensive doesn't mean they don't have to be quality. If you're just starting your bass fishing adventures, you're going to want to have all 5 of these on your boat. If you've been fishing for a while, I'm sure you've probably got several of these already on board, but these are 5 essential baits that you need, all under $10. Let's get into it right now. And the first bait that I want to talk about is the old Bill Lewis Rattle Trap. I believe they're about $7.50 now. When I started fishing these, they were around $3.99, $4. They are a very good bait. They're the original lipless crankbait. They come in 112 colors, so you're going to be able to find the color that you need no matter where you're fishing. My suggestion on these is you want to buy the half-ounce models. If you're fishing here on the Delta, they make a color that is called Delta Craw. This is a really good one. This is one you want to have on the Delta all the time. It works anywhere, but on the Delta especially. If you are fishing for stripers, or you're fishing anywhere where there may be hybrid striper bass, you want to go with a chrome with a blue back. These are the striper killers. If you have those 2 colors in the half-ounce, you're going to be golden out here. You can throw those on a regular crankbait. I like to throw them on 10 to 12 pound mono. You can't fish them wrong. You can rip them back to the boat. You can yo-yo them. You can rip them through the weeds. Just an extremely versatile bait. That's one you need to have in your arsenal. The second bait we're going to talk about is the ZMan Chatterbait. And I wanted to include these in the discussion today. I like throwing the jackhammer, the evergreen jackhammer, which is made by ZMan, by the way, if you don't know that already. But I want everybody to know that ZMan makes a number of chatterbaits. This happens to be their elite model. It's still under $10, but they make a custom. They make the original for, I think, still $6 or $7. These are very good baits. You don't have to go out and buy the jackhammer. These will catch fish. They're the same quality that ZMan has on all of their baits. They still have a Gamakatsu hook in them. They have all the right colors. The only difference you're going to find is there's a little difference in the blade, and also you're going to get a head that's made out of lead instead of tungsten. But all in all, these are very good baits. You don't have to spend $20 on a jackhammer. Go out and get yourself a custom or an elite ZMan Chatterbait, and you're going to do well. And you guys know how to fish these. Same thing. Medium heavy rods, 7'2". You can fish them straight braid. You can fish them anywhere from 10 to, I'll say, 16-pound test mono or fluorocarbon line. Okay, so that's the ZMan Chatterbait. The next bait we'll talk about is the Lure Jensen Speed Trap. And again, this bait has been around for a long time. It's still coming in around $7.50. Comes in 31 colors. It is a quality bait. I fish this right out of the box just the way it is. I leave the hooks on them. I don't know who makes the hooks, but they are good hooks. They have decent split rings on them, and right out of the box you can fish these things. They run straight. They're fish catching machines. They come in 31 colors, and actually I'll have to give Rob from out at the Bass Hole credit for kind of reacquainting me with these last year. I had some in my box and I hadn't used them in a while, and I'll tell you, I started using these things and they outperformed a lot of my more expensive crankbaits last year, and I just, you know, sometimes you have to be reminded that some of these older baits are still catch fish, and they're a lot cheaper than a lot of the fancy new crankbaits. So this Lure Jensen Speed Trap, give this a try if you're not already using them. Again, stick to your Delta kind of craw colors or shad colors, and you're going to do just fine. So that's the Lure Jensen Speed Trap. Fourth on the list is the old Mega Strike Cavatron Buzzbait. When I first started buying these, they were under $5. I think they're up to about $7.50 now, but a very quality bait. This is a buzzbait, obviously. Still comes with a Gamakatsu hook on it. And the claim to fame for these guys, there's a couple things that I really like about them, but the claim to fame for this buzzbait, you can fish it very slow. They call them the slowest moving buzzbait on the market. And part of that is because of this oxbow bend. Part of it's because of the way the head's shaped, and it's got this big aluminum blade that clatters and makes just an awful tinny sound. You'd never think of using this thing until you started catching fish on it. Sound terrible. They don't look like a very cool bait, but they catch fish. This is the Mega Strike Cavatron buzzbait. They come in only about 4 or 5 colors, but they have all the colors you need. The white one is the only one you'll need to probably 90% of the time to catch fish. I know they make a black one, but if you get white and black, you're going to be just fine. Try this thing out. It's a good bait, it's inexpensive, and it's one you want to have in your arsenal. So last but not least, I'm going to talk about a spinnerbait, and this spinnerbait is called the Covert series from Booyah Baits. And Booyah is national. They get a lot of respect on the East Coast. You don't hear as much about them on the West Coast. They're in all the stores, but you just don't, there's not a lot of hype out here. But they make their Covert style spinnerbait is an excellent buy. It's still just under $10, but what I like about this, there's a couple things. Number one, I really love the way they put the skirts on, where they have a longer tail and a shorter billow section. It makes it nice, especially if you don't want to use a skirt on this. You don't necessarily have to. So that's one advantage you have on this thing. Really quality blades and quality workmanship on this thing for a bait under $10. I have also found that this bait is one of the most durable spinner baits that I've ever used. I bring these things up to Canada, and I've caught over 100 smallmouth bass on one spinner bait. And yeah, the heads will get torn up, the skirts sometimes fall off, you may have to put another skirt on, but these things will catch fish after fish after fish. They come with nice, beautiful willow leaf blades. The way that they have them separated here works wonderfully in water where you may have grass and weeds. So on the Delta they work really well. They come in a variety of colors. So these Booyah spinnerbaits, when you see them, they are a deal. Try to pick these up. Okay, so let's think about that. 5 baits, you can get all 5 baits with tax probably for under $50, and you will cover about 80% of the bass fishing situations you'll have anywhere in the United States. You throw in a few plastic worms, a few jigs, a few other oddball baits that you might want to have in there, and you'll have literally a very good bass fishing arsenal for not paying for not a lot of money. So with that, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. If this has been a help to you, make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Until the next video, I'll see you guys on the water.